When you study Scripture, you find many examples of believers who dared to trust God so completely that they lived courageously. They dared to be faithful to God and live boldly for Him. Hi, I'm Chris Montgomery, Senior Pastor at Fraser Church. Welcome to Fraser 365. Thank you for joining us as we examine some of the most faithful and courageous heroes of Scripture. We hope this study challenges you to live boldly for Christ today.
Welcome to day 19 of Dare to Be. Today's devotion is titled Answered Prayer. Andrew Murray once wrote, "Answered prayer is the interchange of love between God and His child." Our text for today is 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 19 and 20. They rose early in the morning and worshipped before the Lord. Then they went back to their house at Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. And in due time Hannah conceived and bore a son. And she called his name Samuel, for she said, "I have asked for him from the Lord." Hannah and Elkanah got up early in the morning and worshiped before the Lord. They prioritized worship as a way to start their day. They didn't just go to worship in Shiloh because it was the traditional thing to do. They also worshiped Him before they departed. Continual worship and persistent prayers are the fertile soil from which God performs miracles. Many times, people stop praying just short of God's answer. At other times, people allow stress and anxiety to distract them from a devoted time of worship with God. Hannah kept praying, and their family kept worshiping. After spending this significant time worshiping the Lord, they traveled 15 miles from Shiloh to their home in Ramah. Scripture records these beautiful words regarding Hannah. The Lord remembered her. Joyce Baldwin adds, "The Lord remembered Hannah as He had remembered Noah in Genesis chapter 8, verse 1, and His covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in Exodus chapter 2, verse 24, not to suggest that His memory was faulty, but to indicate that He was about to work out His unfolding purpose." Hannah's name means woman of grace or favored one. She handled her barrenness and Peninnah's ridicule with grace. Hannah responded to Eli's false accusations with grace. Warren Wiersbe writes, "Certainly, this experience helped to make her into a woman of character and faith and motivated her to give her best to the Lord. She expressed her anguish only to the Lord, and she didn't create problems for the family by disputing with Peninnah. In everything she said and did, Hannah sought to glorify the Lord. Indeed, she was a remarkable woman who gave birth to a remarkable son. God showered His favor down on Hannah, and she gave birth to a son. Tim Chester explains Hannah's name for her son. The favored one is favored. In 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 19 through 20, Hannah becomes pregnant and gives birth to a son. Names are often significant, especially when the act of naming and the meaning of the name are described in the text. Hannah not only names her child, but explains why in verse 20, "Because I asked the Lord for him." The name Samuel actually means His name is God. Samuel is the child that was asked for from the one who is God. The emphasis on asking runs through the story. In verse 17, Eli literally says, "You're asking that you have asked. The request you have requested," we might say. In effect, he says, may God give you the Samuel you have Samueled. When Hannah fulfills her vow and presents Samuel for service in the tabernacle, she says, I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he shall be given over to the Lord. In Hebrew, the word to give, or to dedicate, or to lend is from the same root as the word to ask, because lending is what you do in response to someone asking. So again, there are 4 references to asking in these 2 verses. Literally, what Hannah says is, the Lord has granted me the asking that I asked of him. So now I give the response to my asking of the Lord. For this whole life, he shall be given as a response to my asking to the Lord. Through naming Samuel and his upcoming dedication, Hannah focuses on God's answer to her prayers. These verses are a great lesson on the significance of continual worship, daring prayers, and ongoing gratitude for God's answers. Some questions to consider. Why is daily worship important to your prayer life? What other lessons do these verses provide for your daring prayers? And finally, how can you be reminded that the Lord remembered your prayers? Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.